Coordinates 6 degrees 27 and 7 degrees 30, E, 6.450 degrees north, 7.500 degrees east, 6.450. 7.500 Biafra. Officially, the Republic of Biafra was a secessionist state in West Africa that existed from May 1967 to January 1970 during the Nigerian Civil War. Its territory consisted of the eastern region of Nigeria. After Biafra's declaration of independence, Nigeria declared war on the nascent state, defeating them in the Nigerian Civil War and reuniting the two states. Biafra was formally recognized by Gabon, Haiti, Ivory Coast, Tanzania, and Zambia. Other nations, which did not give official recognition but provided support and assistance to Biafra, included France, Spain, Portugal, Norway, Rhodesia, South Africa, and Vatican City. Biafra received aid from non-state actors, including Joint Church Aid, Holy Ghost Fathers of Ireland, and under their direction Caritas International, and U.S. Catholic Relief Services. Médecins Sans Frontières also originated in response to the suffering after 2.5 years of war, during which almost 2 million Biafran civilians. It was purported that at the start of the Civil War, Igbos withdrew their funds from Nigerian banks and converted it to the Biafran currency. After the war, bank accounts owned by Biafrans were seized and a Nigerian panel resolved to give every Igbo person with an account only £20. Federal projects in Biafra were also greatly reduced compared to other parts of Nigeria. In an inter-society study, it was found that Nigerian security forces also extorted approximately $100 million per year from illegal roadblocks and other methods from Igboland, a cultural sub-region of Biafra in what is now southern Nigeria, causing greater mistrust of the Igbo citizenry towards the Nigerian security forces. Early modern maps of Africa from the 15th to the 19th centuries, drawn from accounts written by explorers and travelers, show references to Biafra, Biafara, and Biafars in his personal writings from his travels. A Rev. Charles W. Thomas defined the locations of islands in the Bight of Biafra as between the parallels of longitude 5 degrees and 9 degrees east and latitude 4 degrees north and 2 degrees south. People in the region have described Biafra as the land directly adjacent to the Bight of Biafra and also an indigenous state, existing before European colonialism created such entities as Nigeria. In 1960, Nigeria became independent of the United Kingdom. As with many other new African states, the borders of the country did not reflect earlier ethnic, cultural, religious, or political boundaries. Thus, the northern region of the country has a Muslim majority, being primarily made up of territory of the indigenous Sokoto Caliphate. The southern population is predominantly Christian, being primarily made up of territory of the indigenous Yoruba and Igbo states in the west and east, respectively. Following independence, Nigeria was demarcated primarily along ethnic lines: Hausa and Fulani majority in the north, Yoruba majority in the west, and Igbo majority in the east. Ethnic tension had simmered in Nigeria during discussions of independence, but in the mid-20th century, ethnic and religious riots began to occur. In 1945, an ethnic riot flared up in Yosh in which Hausa Fulani people targeted Igbo people and left many dead and wounded. Police and army units from Kaduna had to be brought in to restore order. A newspaper article describes the event. At Yosh in 1945, a sudden and savage attack by northerners took the easterners completely by surprise. And before the situation could be brought under control, the bodies of eastern women, men, and children littered the streets and their property worth thousands of pounds reduced to shambles. 300 Igbo people died in the Yosh riot. In 1953, a similar riot occurred in Kano later. A decade later in 1964, and during the Western political crisis divided the Western region as Ladoke. Akintola clashed with Obafemi Awolowo. Widespread reports of fraud tarnished the election's legitimacy. Westerners especially resented the political domination of the Northern People's Congress, many of whose candidates ran unopposed in the election. Violence spread throughout the country and some began to flee the north and west, some to Dahomey. The apparent domination of the political system by the North, and the chaos breaking out across the country, motivated elements within the military to consider decisive action. The federal government, dominated by northern Nigeria, allowed the crisis to unfold with the intention of declaring a state of emergency and placing the Western region under martial law. This administration of the Nigerian federal government was widely perceived to be corrupt. In January 1966, the situation reached a breaking point. A military coup occurred during which a mixed but predominantly Igbo group of army officers assassinated 30 political leaders, including Nigeria's Prime Minister, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and the Northern Premier, Sir Ahmadu Bello. The four